against Citrus College. There were a couple of injuries, and, I mean, they were dead to rights losing that football game in the fourth quarter. They put in Eben Jackson. He was 7 of 20, 53 yards and a touchdown, and played very well.
That's right. You mentioned it before, out of Narbonne High School. Last year, being in the LA City Section Championship with Crenshaw, a game that they lost, but hey, Eben Jackson, championship quarterback.
This is still a very young man, only a freshman for El Camino. I'm sure they're trying to get extra playing time for him. He's 0-2, but that pass interference against Riverside's Bajan Hill moves the chains. A 1st and 10 right at the 50-yard line. El Camino trails by 7 with 13:43 to go here in the second quarter. 5-man rush, handoff on a delay. There goes Kendall Sparks, zigzags across the 50, and he's tripped up after a gain of 5. And Dan, Jonah Moy on the tackle.
Jonah Moy is such a stud. This guy has so much heart, deciding that he's going to be involved in everything. Doesn't matter where that ball is, he always seems to find his nose in that tackle.
No matter who's starting for Riverside at linebacker, they always seem to make plays. Out of the game is A.J. Hodgkins, who has the lone touchdown today on the pick 6 by the linebacker. In is number 42, Brock Carmen, the sophomore product, and he'll be standing about right at the first down marker. It's 2nd and 5 here with a 2-wide set. Play action fake. Jackson on the move and fires to a completely covered running back. That'll be a 2-yard loss by Dion Williams. 3rd down and 6 now. And boy, El Camino's going backwards following the solid drive started from their own 30.
And guess who did that tackle?
A.J. Hodgkins, huh?
Yeah.
This has been a stalwart performance by this linebacking core. I have been amazed.
Yeah, I am too. These guys are not playing around, like I said earlier. They came out to play.
I think the loss to Grossmont College was potentially the best thing for this Tigers team, but this offense is still an extremely lethargic bunch. We'll see what they have in store if El Camino cannot move the chains here. 3rd down and 8, pass rush coming. Eben Jackson will take it himself, and down he goes. Jeremiah Mitchell swallowed him up. It's a loss of 2, and the 4th sack of the season by the Marshall committed. It's a 3 and out by El Camino.
Jeremiah Mitchell showing his strength there, and he has the body to do it. 6'5", 260 out of Lake Elsinore, California. That guy, talk about grabbing the quarterback and just throwing him down with one arm.
He had absolutely no regard for the well-being of Eben Jackson. Now
No
2
way.
out of 6, El Camino on 3rd downs.
They take after their mascot. They're playing like Tigers out there, man.
This has been a stalwart performance by that defense. Unfortunately, 0 points and 0 first downs by that Riverside offense here midway through the second quarter. 11:34 to go here in the second stanza. A high spiraling punt here by El Camino that will bounce out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Riverside needs to move the chains here on this drive.
Yeah, well, the question is, who's coming out to play quarterback?
This question at quarterback position cannot happen any longer,
Yeah.
Dan. I'm getting a little frustrated by their inability to decide, 1, on a quarterback and 2, on the play calling here.
Yeah, we've already seen 3 of them. Helinski, Vernala, and then who else?
Nicholas King now.
Nicholas King as well. So
And he's into the game.
there you go. So I think this is a...
You can never, I think when you have 3
Yeah.
quarterbacks, you have 0 quarterbacks. How in the
do.
world can you get one in rhythm when you have another one right at your heels?
You can't. And this job now is for King. It's his for the taking, I feel.
They're completely switching up the offensive playbook as well, which I completely disagree with. Now they're going Wildcat again. Handoff right up the middle to Foster. Breaks a tackle across the 30. Still moving, taking El Camino defenders with them all the way to the 42-yard line. It's a Denzel Foster first down, a pickup of 27 yards, Dan.
The Wildcat. Nicholas King lines up at wide receiver, as he does again. They're going to the Wildcat again.
That is only the 13th first down on the ground by Riverside this year. That is the worst statistic in Southern California and second to last in the state. This is a team that does not move the chains on the ground. Only 13 coming in.
Yeah, Nicholas King being used as a decoy. Denzel Foster going to be put into the Wildcat, and El Camino calls a timeout in the right situation. It's something that they haven't seen on tape. This is the first week they run the Wildcat. So El Camino deciding there, hey, let's slow things down. We can't get beat. If Riverside starts playing that no-huddle Wildcat, it could be something very disruptive to their defense. So good job by their coach there.
Well, that is the longest run by Denzel Foster in over 8 quarters of football. He hasn't had a run longer than 20 yards since the first quarter of the Saddleback game, week number 2 of the JUCO season here. And this, by far, has been one of the most lethargic running games in the JUCO ranks. That is the first time the Tigers have moved the chains. They lead by 7 because of some marvelous defense. The A.J. Hodgkins pick 6, 7-0 Riverside on top. 11:17 to go. Kelly Helinski into the game. The pistol set and a handoff to Denzel Foster. That run's going nowhere. A 2-yard loss here. 2nd and 12 now by Riverside, and that clock runs under 11 minutes to go.
A little bit of a chess game going on from the Riverside coach, Coach Kraft, and coach of El Camino, Coach Featherstone. They're El Camino calling a timeout before that play, deciding to, hey, watch for that run. Helinski comes out. They spread it out. 4 wide receivers going to a delay run. Didn't work there.
Well, what's amazing is that John Featherstone, the El Camino coach, is entering his 30th season as a member of the Warriors. That is by far the best. That is by far the longest tenured coach in El Camino history. The pass is caught by Jermel Walker, and a little bit of extracurriculars after that, a 10-yard pickup, his first of the day.
Jermel Walker out of Rancho Cucamonga High School, 6'1", 180. Bobbled the ball, grabs it again, gets clipped hard. Fortunately, he's able to catch that ball, and it looks like it's against Riverside, Nick.
Yeah, that penalty will negate the pass completion. Kelly Helinski, I mean, it's one thing to have a play calling that signals a couple quarterback draws, but it's a completely separate thing when off of your biggest play of the football game, a penalty will put it back.
Yeah. Let's see if... Wow, this is a 15-yard penalty now.
They go from a 3rd down and 3 from their own 48 to a 2nd down and count it 27 from their own 24. Kelly Helinski, his longest 2nd down attempt today with 10:28 to go. Riverside leads by 7. More flags and a false start.
Wow, this is... Let me give the listener some reality on what Riverside's doing in their offensive front. Right there, bad snap. Okay, that's strike 1. And I noticed the left tackle, number 63, Terrell Battle, instead of engaging with this run, with this
fumbled snap by Kelly Helinski, and he'll have to dive on top of it. May have recovered, but Dan, you mentioned that offensive line is shaky, and another bad play by them. A bad snap.
A new center right there.
Yeah, William Smorenberg was out as Christian Moore had taken snaps for Riverside. Now under 10 minutes to go in a sloppy 7-0 lead here for Riverside. 3rd down and 37. Offense continuing to struggle here from their own 14. Shotgun snap to Helinski. Looking left. Fires on the run to Jermel Walker. Leaping grab at the 35-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 21 on a 3rd down and 37, Dan, and a little too late on 3rd down.
Way too late. It's all about field position in this one. You just want to get back as much as you can so you could help out your defense somehow. Not by scoring points, but field position, which is all Riverside can do right now on the offensive front.
I expected Isaac Whitney to have a bigger impact in this game. He had 13 receptions for 221 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had his 5th offer, scholarship offer that is, from an NCAA school. That was Cal Berkeley, his last offer, but 0 catches for a man who's looking towards Washington State or Cal. And the kickoff will be recovered and taken down at around the 24-yard line by DeJuan Lee. Riverside is going to have to do it again, Dan, on defense.
They will, and I feel like they can. This is a defensive team that is confident in themselves. They're really pumped up tonight, and they've been showing that they could hold El Camino.
Well, the mantra is defense wins championships. Do you think that offense is a little too lethargic here in the opening months?
It's way too lethargic for them to call themselves a championship team yet. I mean, it is a championship defense, but this offense has got to be able to catch up somehow, some way.
Riverside, 5 possessions, 5 punts, and only 1 first down for the Tigers. But 0 turnovers. 0 turnovers, which is an improvement, which is pretty sad.
I mean, compared to 8 last week, 0 is definitely a victory.
Well, on a 1st and 10, Kendall Sparks again getting involved, bouncing off tackles down the sideline and runs out of bounds after a 10-yard pickup, move the chains.
A pitch to the outside, getting a lane right down the sideline and picking up a good gain of 12. Nice.
Well, Kendall Sparks was out of the game due to injury last week, and he seems to be a man that is a rejuvenated running back, a sophomore for El Camino, and a man who's trying to set some career highs running the football. He's well on his way to doing that today. A couple of rushing first downs, 12-yard pickup there, and now with 8:45 to go, El Camino on the move from their own 33. First down and 10. Man in motion, that is the backup tight end, number 86, Devion Shelton. Hand off to the single back. That is Kendall Sparks looking through for a hole and ends up picking up 2. And a cloud of dust there, 2nd and 8 now.
Yeah, let's talk about this Riverside offense still. Helinski right there on the sideline yelling at his offensive front, telling him that, hey, we got to get this going. And he understands the sense of urgency that they've got to have.
I'm sure the defense is awfully frustrated. Dom Kraft mentioned that everyone was to blame for their loss against Grossmont College. Well, it has been nothing short of an offensive ineptitude here for Riverside as Terrence Solomon, along with a man who's down and hurt for Riverside, Thaddeus Legrone, off of the tackle in a loss of 2. But that is a devastating injury there for Riverside College. He is wincing in pain.
Yeah,
he's down and hurt.
He's holding his hip. Might have fallen on it or had, during the tackle, the runner fell on him, on his hip. So it's wincing in pain, like you said, grabbing his hip. Let's hope it's not too serious. He did drop to the floor, though.
Very quickly there, Dan. 7:58 to go. Riverside leads 7-0. And that defense, even with the pitch-perfect game, even with the touchdown on the interception return, they are still defensively trying to make more stops because that offense, frankly, isn't doing a whole lot.
They're not. And the way this defense is playing, don't expect them to do much. A huge drop in point average for sure after tonight. It seems like if this one keeps going the way it does.
Oh, this is definitely disappointing for Riverside. It's your stalwart defensive lineman, Jeremiah Mitchell, who's down and hurt. He is wincing in pain off to the sideline and standing on his own power, so that will be a 2-yard loss. 3rd down and 11 now for El Camino. The Warriors have yet to get in the field goal range here today. They're looking for their longest drive. And they start from their own 33. 3rd down and 11. Joey Notch calling plays of the line. A 4-wide set. Davian Shelton pushed out to the right-hand side. He's against Trishawn Broughton, who had the big day against Saddleback College a couple weeks ago. Back to throw. Notch facing pressure. Eludes off of one man. Steps up in the pocket. And down he goes. That may have been a run back to the line of scrimmage, though they will not give the sack to a man who's subbing into the football game, number 51 for Riverside, Theo Suddeth. And that'll be a run for no gain. 4th down, another 3-and-out forced by that defense.
Despite that not being called a sack, that should be called a coverage sack at least. Everyone locked down out in the field right there. Way to go, defensive backs right there.
Well, I'll be completely honest. The secondary was one of the weak links in that Grossmont game. They allowed a number of red zone opportunities to go for touchdowns. Trayvon Watson had the one big play, but that secondary was far from what they expected. And so far today, that defensive back crew has been nothing short of dominant, as that punt will be angled near the sideline. Michael Salone will sprint out of bounds at his own 21-yard line. That'll end up being a solid 45-yard punt by a man who ranks number 3 in the state in punting the football, 43-yard per punt average. That is Joshua Thomas, who kicks it out of bounds. Only a freshman there for El Camino.
Would be nice to see Riverside sustain a drive with 6:44 remaining in this half. Would be nice to milk that clock and come away with a 14-0 score.
Well, Kelly Helinski back onto the field. Only 1 first down for Riverside off of 5 possessions. And frankly, they need to get things going here. Under 100 yards of offense and far from the pitch-perfect day that we expected in this ball game at the quarterback position. 1st down and 10. Crowd anxiously awaiting its offense to make a play. Helinski fans it out to Christopher Anderson, who's tripped up at the 25-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 3.
Again, when the run game is non-existent, the screen and the swing pass are always options to make up for the lack of run game.
It's somewhat of an archaic form that Riverside runs offensively, as Helinski is still staring down his head coach, who not only is the coach of the entire football team, obviously, but he's the quarterback's coach and the offensive coordinator, and he has been far from a happy camper. 2nd down and 7. His offense has been one of the worst in the JUCO world. Helinski will take it himself and end up run for a 9-yard pickup there. Your quarterback moving the chains.
Holinsky showing some experience right there. Faking the handoff off of the read option. Finding the seams, finding the hole down in that defensive front, getting that first down, and then slide.